Born December 18th, 1946, there are a lot of directors that I would say are great, but none so other than the greatest director I know, in my opinion, is Steven Spielberg, a, a filmmaker who takes storytelling and characters to a whole nother level. And today, my friends, I would very much like to talk about my top 10 favorite Steven Spielberg films. And it I love this director, and I love his movies, and he has just put a big staple on the world of cinema itself. So without further ado, let's get started. I guess I'd like to first talk about his very first success, a little summer blockbuster made in 1975 called Jaws. Jaws is a movie about a shark who likes to kill people, and it took a lot of time for Steven Spielberg to operate a robotic animatronic shark, and in fact, I've heard stories of it even drowning in it even sinking in the water, and they had to spend the whole day trying to get it back out. This film has a great cast. It has Rob Schneider, um, uh, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss, um, playing the three men who are tasked to find and kill the shark. The film has a very classic opening score by Steven Spielberg's friend and collaborator John Williams, who does most of his movie scores, and it's a very good film. The second film I'd like to talk about is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. This one once again stars Richard Dreyfuss as a man who sees a UFO, and the government wants to make contact with the aliens, and also there is a woman looking for her son who got abducted by the aliens. The movie is very classic, and it is a very good film, and its most memorable things are the five notes. Do, 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 dong. It's a great film and one of Steven Spielberg's best. Speaking of aliens, I cannot forget that very, very entertaining 1982 classic E.T. the Extraterrestrial. A movie about a boy who becomes friends with an alien, has touched the heart of many, and is a classic Steven Spielberg film. In fact, here's my impression of E.T. E.T. phone home. I'll be right here. It's a great film, and I very much love it. And the next film I'd like to talk about is Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Both films came out in the 1980s and were big successes. They are all about Indiana Jones and his world traveling adventures, looking for lost artifacts, as he is an archaeologists, and I would say that a good amount of archaeologists today are archaeologists because of Steven Spielberg's films, and they're very good, very memorable scenes. The music, once again created by John Williams, is also brilliant. Do 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 do. It's a very good adventure films, and fun fact, they're based off these 1940s serials, like shows that adventure shows that Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, who also helped write this film, grew up with as children, and they based Indiana Jones off those heroes. Next film I would say I'd like to talk about is Jurassic Park, a film where a brilliant professor creates dinosaurs out of their by taking their DNA from the blood in a mosquito and using that to clone dinosaurs and to make an amusement park. It's many people have seen this film. It has spawned many sequels and reboots, and it is a very classic Steven Spielberg film. And anyone has, and the robots and the CGI in the to make the dinosaurs are very well made. And if literally anyone has not seen Jurassic Park, great film. I'd highly recommend it. I'd also like to talk about Saving Private Ryan. It is about the last days of all the good people of the world storming the beach of Normandy, and then going back and trying to find one of their lost men. The movie stars Tom Hanks as the sergeant who leads his troops to find Private Ryan, and it is a great and the first 20 minutes are some of the most accurately gruesome representations of what happened that day when we all stormed Normandy Beach a long time ago. And it's very well made, but boy, oh boy, do they get the horror of World War II in that scene. It is really, really not fun. I'd also like to talk about Hook. Well, I know that a lot of people they have mixed feelings about this, but I love Hook. Robin Williams plays like adult Peter Pan, and Captain Hook, played by Dustin Hoffman, has kidnapped his children, and now Peter Pan has to get back to Neverland, learn how to fly, and get his children back. The film has whimsiness to it, and it's just a very classic film. And Robin Williams and Dustin Hoffman, they play their roles so beautifully. And of course, who can forget the Lost Boys, led by Rufio, and who can forget Boomerang? It's a great film. Hook is a family classic, and it's one of my favorites. And of course, how can I forget another great Steven Spielberg film, Schindler's List, 1993 Schindler's List, a film that took a lot out of Steven Spielberg due to his Jewish ancestry. He had to do a lot of history about what happened to Jews in the concentration camps during World War II, and a lot about a real life story of Oskar Schindler, played by Liam Neeson in this film. The film is set in black and white, but there's a little bit of red, and there's a lot of theories about what that color in the clothes of this little girl meant, and a lot of it is hope for the future, hope for survival, and it is a very good film. But a little fun fact: Steven Spielberg, a lot of days he had whenever he was like, they had to film a lot of sad scenes. Immediately after shooting, he would go home, turn on Seinfeld just to get some laughs, because when you're working on a very serious film like Schindler's List, you really have to understand that people it's pretty depressing work, so comedy helps in any way that it can. I'd also like to talk about AI. AI is a film that was originally written by a great friend and director and influence on Steven Spielberg, Stanley Kubrick, but sadly Stanley Kubrick passed away in the 1990s, and so AI was directed by Steven Spielberg in honor of his friend. And AI is basically about a robot boy who is given to this family to replace the loss of their son, who is in a coma. But when the boy wakes up from the coma, the family does not want the robot anymore, and then it takes on very much of a Pinocchio story of the boy wanting to be a real boy, so that the mom who threw him aside would love him again. And the film is all about his journey to try and find the blue fairy. It's, like I said, it's a very Pinocchio-ish film, and try and be alive, be a real boy, so that his mom would love him. And finally, I'd like to talk about the BFG, classic book, based off the classic book by Roald Dahl. The BFG is a great film with a lot of whimsiness to it, and is the first film where Steven Spielberg directed a film for Disney, the Walt Disney Company, and he really enjoyed that. He got a kick out of working for Disney because he said that he grew up watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which was a huge influence on him, and he said that working on a film for Disney was pretty much of a dream come true. And I believe that's it. I know that of course, you all know that Steven Spielberg, he may not have directed, but he also produced a lot of films like The Goonies, Back to the Future, Poltergeist, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all great films, and it seems that the man knows what he's doing. He even when he's just producing, he still gets his hands on it, and he still helps out with the art. You might also not know this, but Steven Spielberg also helped create a couple of cartoons to bring it back to the golden age of like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Some of these classics include Tiny Toon Adventures and Animaniacs, one of my personally favorite cartoons, and something that I will be talking about later on this channel. He also created this cartoon called Freakazoid, which is very funny. And if you don't know it, look it up. It is hilarious. It is just bonkers, and it's very funny. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the people of the world, I am signing off. And thank you for letting me talk about one of my favorite directors. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.